The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as Elon Musk, the tech visionary and billionaire entrepreneur, stood at the defendant's table. Whispers rippled through the audience, some excited, others skeptical. Judge Frank Caprio adjusted his glasses and looked down at Musk. "Mr. Musk," he began, his voice calm yet firm, "you're not used to being told no, are you?" Musk's lips curved into a faint smile. "Sometimes, Your Honor, no means I'm just asking the wrong person." The audience chuckled, but Judge Caprio's gaze remained steady. What unfolded next was a case that revealed a side of Elon Musk few had ever seen, leaving the courtroom both stunned and inspired. Comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss more of these incredible courtroom moments. The case involved a peculiar parking violation. Musk had allegedly ignored local zoning laws by installing a personal electric vehicle charging station on public property. When called to the stand, Musk strolled in, wearing a crisp suit and an unshaken demeanor. "Good morning, Your Honor," he said, his tone polite yet confident. Judge Caprio raised an eyebrow. "Mr. Musk, I don't often have billionaires in my court. Do you think my bench can handle your weight?" Musk chuckled softly. "I'm here to answer for my actions, Your Honor. Let's just hope the charger works better than my last rocket launch." The audience laughed, breaking some of the tension. Judge Caprio leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "Mr. Musk, it's not every day a billionaire like yourself graces this courtroom. But tell me, why did you think it was acceptable to install a charging station on public property without seeking permission?" Musk clasped his hands, his demeanor calm yet thoughtful. "Your Honor, I truly believed I was doing something beneficial. The station was part of a prototype project aimed at making sustainable energy more accessible. This wasn't about cutting corners, it was about tackling the urgent need for clean energy adoption. Time is of the essence in fighting climate change, and I wanted to lead by example." Judge Caprio tilted his head slightly, a hint of curiosity flickering in his eyes. "Your intent is certainly admirable, Mr. Musk, but you must know that rules exist for a reason. Did you at any point consult with the local council or seek approval before moving forward with this project?" Musk's lips pressed into a thin line. "I'll admit, Your Honor, I acted swiftly. Too swiftly, perhaps. I was driven by the desire to implement the project efficiently, but I see now that I overlooked the proper channels. I understand that this wasn't just an oversight. It was a mistake. The community should always have a say in changes that affect their shared spaces." Judge Caprio nodded thoughtfully. "Indeed, swift action can be commendable, but so is respect for the process. It seems even the brightest minds can miss the importance of community engagement." The city's attorney stood, holding up a photograph for the court to see. The image showed the charging station, a sleek and futuristic structure, but glaringly out of place as it blocked a well-used pedestrian pathway. "Your Honor," the attorney began, "while Mr. Musk's goals may be noble, this installation caused a significant obstruction, disrupting both foot traffic and access for individuals with disabilities." The judge examined the photograph closely before turning back to Musk. "Mr. Musk, care to explain this? Blocking a pedestrian pathway seems not only inconsiderate, but also unsafe." Musk's expression grew serious, his gaze steady. "That was an unintended consequence, Your Honor. When the station was installed, the focus was on testing its capabilities, not its placement. My team intended to adjust the layout based on the feedback and usage patterns." The city attorney raised a hand. "With all due respect, Your Honor, adjustments after the fact don't excuse the initial violation. This isn't just about oversight, it's about accountability." Judge Caprio sighed, leaning back in his chair. His voice carried a mix of humor and admonishment. "It seems that even geniuses can't avoid simple errors. Mr. Musk, while your vision may be ahead of its time, the present still demands consideration for the rules that govern us all." Musk nodded earnestly. "I understand that now, Your Honor. I've always believed in taking responsibility for my actions. I'm committed to working with the community and the council to ensure this project aligns with everyone's needs and rights. My intention was never to cause harm or inconvenience." Judge Caprio's lips curled into a faint smile. "That's good to hear. But remember, Mr. Musk, genius doesn't absolve anyone from humility. Sometimes the brightest ideas require the simplest virtues: patience, respect, and collaboration." The courtroom buzzed softly as spectators murmured among themselves. The clash between Musk's visionary ideals and the grounded realities of community governance was proving to be a captivating spectacle. Musk cleared his throat, his usually composed demeanor giving way to a rare flicker of vulnerability. He hesitated for a moment, then began to speak, his voice quieter and more deliberate than before. "Your Honor, if I may, there's something I'd like to share. This project, it's deeply personal to me. My youngest son, XAE-12, was recently diagnosed with a respiratory condition, one that's worsened by exposure to pollution. It's a condition that makes even a simple walk outside a risk for him." The courtroom grew still, the air heavy with an unexpected poignancy. Musk continued, his eyes fixed on the table in front of him. "Every time I see him struggle to take a deep breath, I'm reminded of how urgent this fight for clean energy really is. My obsession with sustainability and innovation, it's not about ego, not about profit. It's about creating a better future for him and others like him, kids who deserve to grow up breathing clean air and living healthy lives." The spectators exchanged glances, their earlier skepticism melting into quiet empathy. Judge Caprio leaned back in his chair, his gaze softening as he observed Musk. "Mr. Musk," the judge began, his tone measured but kind, "you've managed to put a human face on this violation. It's easy for people to judge actions from the sidelines until they understand the why, and your why, well, it's hard to argue against." Musk offered a small nod, his voice steady but tinged with emotion. "I've made mistakes in how I've approached this project, Your Honor, and I'm not here to defend those errors, but I hope you'll see that my heart was in the right place. I wanted to create something impactful, not just for my son, but for every child, every person who deserves a cleaner world." Judge Caprio let out a thoughtful sigh, his fingers steepled in front of him. "It's clear that your intentions were noble, Mr. Musk. But even the best intentions must be tempered with responsibility and consideration for those they affect. You've reminded us all of the bigger picture today, a picture that's often overlooked in the grind of bureaucracy and regulation." The city attorney shifted in their seat, their initial sternness now softened. Even the most critical voices in the room seemed to acknowledge the genuine sentiment behind Musk's words. One member of the audience, a middle-aged woman, wiped a tear from her eye as she whispered to her neighbor, "He's doing this for his son. How can you not respect that?" Judge Caprio leaned forward, his voice carrying the weight of wisdom. "Mr. Musk, I appreciate your transparency and your willingness to own up to your actions. It takes courage to lay bare such personal motivations in a public forum. Your son is lucky to have a father who's fighting for his future. But remember, the fight for a better world must always include those who share it." Musk met the judge's gaze, his usual confidence softened into gratitude. "Thank you, Your Honor. I've learned a lot through this experience, and I'll do everything in my power to ensure that my projects serve both the greater good and the communities they touch." The room remained silent for a moment, the emotional weight of Musk's revelation lingering like a shared burden. The courtroom, once a place of conflict, now felt more like a space for understanding and shared purpose. Judge Caprio leaned forward, his hands clasped on the desk, and spoke with deliberate care. His tone carried the wisdom of years spent balancing justice with compassion. "Mr. Musk, I must say, your commitment to clean energy and the passion you've shown for creating a better world are admirable. Your motivations, rooted in something as deeply personal as your son's health, remind us of the human side of innovation. However, he paused, his gaze steady, laws are the backbone of our society. They exist to ensure fairness, accountability, and order, no matter how noble the cause. Musk nodded solemnly, his usual assertiveness replaced with a quiet acknowledgement of the judge's point. Judge Caprio continued, his voice firm but kind. I cannot let this violation go unnoticed. Your actions, though well-intentioned, bypass the proper processes, creating challenges for the very community you aim to serve. Therefore, I'm imposing a fine for this infraction. But this won't just be a penalty. It'll be a step toward the very goal you're striving for. The funds from this fine will be directed to a city project that promotes sustainable energy initiatives. It's only fitting that your contributions serve to advance the cause you hold so dear. Musk leaned slightly forward, his expression thoughtful. That's fair, Your Honor. I understand and fully accept the consequences of my actions. And if there's any additional way I can support the city in its sustainable efforts, I'd be more than happy to contribute further. Judge Caprio's lips curled into a faint smile, a flicker of humor breaking through the otherwise serious proceedings. Careful now, Mr. Musk. Don't tempt me. The courtroom erupted in laughter, the moment cutting through the lingering tension like a breath of fresh air. Even the city attorney, who had been stern and unyielding, couldn't suppress a small chuckle. As the laughter subsided, Judge Caprio's tone turned serious again, though the warmth in his voice remained. I'll also take this opportunity to ask the city to work with you, Mr. Musk, to ensure that any future projects you undertake align with the necessary regulations and permitting processes. Let's not stifle innovation, but guide it so that it walks hand in hand with community interests and legal frameworks. Musk straightened, his expression one of both respect and relief. Thank you, Your Honor. I'll make sure to collaborate more effectively moving forward. This has been a humbling experience, and I've learned a great deal about the importance of community input and regulatory compliance. Judge Caprio offered a small nod, his gaze sweeping the room. This case serves as a reminder for all of us. Progress should never come at the expense of the people it's meant to serve. When innovation and regulations coexist, we not only build better systems, but also stronger communities. The audience, moved by the judge's words, broke into gentle applause. The once tense courtroom now felt united in a shared understanding of the balance between ambition and accountability. Let's move forward together, Judge Caprio concluded, his voice carrying the weight of wisdom and the lightness of hope. As the gavel struck, the echoes of its sound lingered in the room, marking the close of a case that was far more than a mere legal proceeding. Elon Musk, a man known worldwide for his groundbreaking innovations and unshakable confidence, walked out of the courtroom not just as a defendant, but as someone who had gained a deeper understanding of the delicate balance between ambition and accountability. The courtroom, once a place of tension, had transformed into a space for learning and reflection. Judge Caprio's wisdom had turned what might have been a simple violation into a meaningful conversation about community, responsibility, and the shared goals of progress. His ability to combine firmness with empathy reminded everyone present that justice isn't just about enforcing laws, it's about understanding the people behind them. Musk's journey through this case was not merely about facing consequences, but about embracing humility. It was a rare glimpse of vulnerability from a man often seen as larger than life. His admission of personal motivations and his willingness to accept responsibility created a moment of connection, a reminder that even the most visionary leaders are human. Judge Caprio had once again demonstrated that the true pillars of justice are compassion and fairness. His thoughtful judgment turned a potential conflict into a bridge, connecting innovation with the needs of the community it seeks to serve. The resolution of this case wasn't just about upholding the law. It was about fostering understanding and encouraging collaboration for a brighter, more sustainable future. As Musk left the courtroom, his steps seemed lighter, as though the weight of the lesson he'd learned had also given him a new perspective. In the end, the case was more than a legal challenge. It was an opportunity for growth, proving that even in the most unexpected places, there's room to learn and to strive for something greater. If this story touched your heart and gave you a new perspective on justice, hit the like button and share it with friends who appreciate stories that blend wisdom, humanity, and hope. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible courtroom moments, where the law meets compassion and every case reveals the profound power of second chances. Join us as we uncover stories that inspire, challenge, and remind us of the values that truly matter.